Good evening and salutations, my G trans. Okay, so let's just get something out the way right off rip. Quinn is a dick. And it's really sad. I don't think that Quinn has ever actually been with a real one. When I say with a real one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Somebody's going to sit there and hold you down and not just be about whatever life that you got going on, football, sports, whatever. They're going to sit there and hold you down. They're going to be a real one. And he's coming in with all this, I don't want to sit there and say toxic masculine energy or anything like that, but it's like, bro, he's still sitting there blaming her to Kai about his injury. And he's like, oh, listen, she's done nothing for you but bring you down, and you got hurt because of her, and you're a different person, and da 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 da. And he even says, hey, listen, I told her to stay away from you. I was like, you cock blocking, like, I'm like, bro, listen, there's so much about you that I don't like, but also I feel like he's a user too. You know, he's a user. I know he wants to sit there and try to act like he's his friend and everything like that, but I feel like he's only his friend when he's helping him win games. When he's all about football and carrying team and doing this, that, and the third. And this is where, Kai is like, hey, listen, she's the only one that's not there uplifting me. She's the only one that's not there telling me that I have a life outside of football. Everybody else is just interested in me as far as what I can do, not who I am. And so he walks away. He's all like, oh, well, I can't sit there and get down with somebody who changes somebody like that. I'm like, bro, honestly, tell you the truth, I think Trina being in his life is probably the best thing for him because he damn sure don't need people like Quinn in his life. Um, Now, Trina is talking to Josh and being like, hey, listen, what's going on? Are you okay? Your mom's blowing up my phone. And notice that there's something off with her. And, she's just like, oh, I broke my phone. And she comes up with some lie and everything like that. And, she changes the subject. She's like, oh, how's your date? And Karen's like, it was okay. I'm like, okay. But then she told Ava that, she had a good time and everything like that. And see, this is why I told you what's going to wind up happening in a sense. Because she's like, I don't know if, anything's going to happen because there's so many girls that like him. And Trina's not the type of person that would generally sit there and go for it. But Kai did sit there and call her up after talking to Quinn's cock blocking ass and was like, if you want to do something, whatever. And then my theory about, the love triangle, whatever, or whatever you want to sit there and call it. So, okay, just for the new people. I made this theory, right? That Emma's going to sit there and start to get, start to like Kai. Trina likes Kai, but she's not exactly the gutsy kind of person that would sit there and really go for it. And of course, Gio likes Emma. So, that's pretty much how I saw that playing out. I can't sit there and say it's a love triangle because you have another person there. So it's what the hell do you call that? Let me know in the comment section. Um, Dante tells Alexis, Molly, and Christina that Cyrus is the one that sat there and you know killed Sam because of some divine plan that Sam screwed up. So now everyone is upset about it. Um, Christina does not believe in the system. There's one point where they go to Bobby's and they're talking, and Molly's like, "I believe in the system." First of all, Molly looks pretty good. Molly be looking on point. But she talks about how they believe in the system and it doesn't always work and it does kind of suck, but I still believe in the system. Christina's like, I don't believe in the system. I didn't believe in the system when it killed our baby. It went from our baby to her sitting there saying her baby, and I felt like Molly just kind of just like, you know what, I'm just gonna let this go, and she walks off. Um, Sonny was assuming that Jason off Cyrus, but He's like, he didn't do it. It had to be a different person since Sam was gone. Because he was able to sit there and be reckless and be an absentee dad when he knew that Sam was there to sit there and pick up the slack. Because, that's just, so awesome to him to do. But now that, that's his sole parent, he has to move a little bit different. Anna is just like, yep, he did it. Why? I don't know. He did it. Yeah, yeah, he did it. He also made that threat. And, he said that he was going to disappear. Now, what's really funny? Cyrus used to sit there and be a mob kingpin. Okay? That attracts a large amount of enemies from all over the globe or whatever, right? Nah, I'm just going to sit there and focus on Jason. Yeah, that's some real detective work right there. And calls Jason in. Jason is just still coming in the precinct without a lawyer. Let's just be honest. I'm pretty sure that the actress that plays Diane is probably busy, so they can't get Diane. But I'm like, bro, come on. At this point, I would sit there and get a public defender or something. Like, what are we doing at this point? Not knocking public defenders. There are here's the thing that I understand about public defenders. There are some of that's really good. The problem is that they have a huge caseload, right? So when people sit there and say, "Oh, I need a lawyer, I need a lawyer," what about public defender? I need a lawyer. It's not to sit there and say that public defenders are bad. It's just that they're saying that they have a huge caseload sometimes, and things happen. But he tells her, "I didn't do it." Now she comes in, she's just like, "Oh, what about the promise you made to me? About making me look bad and me doing you favors and being good friends and stuff like that." And I'm like, Anna, this whole sentence, it's so out of pocket for any police commissioner to sit there and be talking about to the local mob enforcer. Oh, you gave me your word. You promised me not. You promised you weren't do it, and just all of this, that, and the third. And I'm like, you do realize he's a mob enforcer, right? He can pretty much just, I don't know, go tell you to, I'm not gonna sit there and say that. I'm not gonna use that vulgar language, but he can pretty much tell you to kick rocks. Okay, we're gonna keep this PC. Um, But he does sit there and say, I didn't do it because I made a promise to Sam. I saw Sam's grave. I was also with Drew. And I made a promise to you. You told me to do your favor, so I decided not to do it. The chase comes in with forensics. And pretty much, long story short, a hair follicle is there in the cabin. So, Jason clearly did it because why not? Also, Felicia was there doing just like her usual pointless stuff. She was with Laura for a little bit. Laura thanking her for helping out or something. I have no idea. Um, but then she sees Jocelyn, and she's talking to Jocelyn, and Jocelyn's they're trying to fish for information. There's one point where Felicia's like, "No, from what I understand, they got a suspect already, which is Jason Morgan." Um, so, um, but he does have an alibi. I don't know. The problem is I don't know what. He has an alibi, but he did. Never mind, because he did leave Drew's place. And there's no body. So that alibi just kind of goes out the window. Um, Also, so a lot of people, one is Jess, and some other people was not just saying that. Also, Dion, G.H. Henry, was not just saying that Jocelyn should have told the truth. Here's the problem with that. This is not going to come across as necessarily self-defense, right? And I was in his chat, and we really couldn't sit there and debate it because he mostly does do the reviewing live. So it's not something I was able to really get into it with him. But the thing is, Jocelyn came there with a gun, right? And Cyrus' property. Yeah, she was snooping around and Anna knew about that, but like the point is, it's going to look premeditated, right? So you come there to Cyrus' place with an unregistered gun, and yeah, you could sit there and say it was self-defense because he did have an axe, but how do we know it's not going to come across as self-defense with Cyrus? How do we know that Jocelyn didn't pull her weapon first, and then he pulled the axe and he tried to defend himself, but Jocelyn gunned him down. We don't know that. That's the thing. Yes, there's prints on the axe, but self defense can go both ways in this situation. And I feel like most people are sitting there saying that. Most people are sitting there saying that Jocelyn should have called the cops because of self defense, because we're seeing it. Okay, the audience is seeing it. It's not, but it's not about that. The characters need to see that, or somebody other than Jack needs to see that. Um, and even that may or may not be enough. Who knows? But the point is that it can easily go the other way. Now Geo comes over and one, she wants to apologize to Jocelyn for the hell's her name? Emma's rudeness, her pushiness, and she's like, "Hey, listen, it's cool. Don't worry about it. I was posting some flyers, and me and Emma have a weird history, a weird, strange history." And I'm like, "What does that mean?" I mean, honestly, to tell you the truth, I just see Emma coming at Jocelyn for some crap that happened. We're like 12 years old, so it's just kind of stupid to me. The Sonny and Laura scene didn't really matter that much. I mean, they're on good terms, so I guess that's cool. Marty Marty finds out that Cyrus tried to kill Lulu. Well, killed a bunch of other people, and of course Marty's not there putting this on himself because he was not there championing defending Cyrus. Now, one of the things that Laura did sit there and say was, and I'm like, is this a typo? Like, was somebody asleep at the wheel? Laura tells him that. Let me see if I can. She sat there and said that she should have put a stop to it, but she wanted Cyrus to ingratiate himself, um, with her, and to have the staff sit there and talk about how devoted he was, and I'm just like, now, listen, I know everyone's interpretation about that is going to be different, but for me, it just came a bit egotistical. You should have put a stop to it. You said that, but you said you didn't want to because you wanted Cyrus to ingratiate himself into you. So if that's not something they're saying that's an ego thing, then what is that something they're saying? Because I've been saying that Laura's behavior has been out of pocket for a hot minute, ever since that she knew that Cyrus was the one behind the whole bombing that sent Lulu into a coma. And yet you still sat there and you entertained him and you told him, oh, well, you can come by, but only if you call. What? It should damn near be on site every single time you see this man. For you to sit there and say anything else. Now, it just. Anyway, Marty talks about his mom and everything like that, and how Cyrus didn't like the fact that he felt that his mom should have just went out peaceful instead of doing all these tests and prodding and stuff like that. So, he's like, he should have probably knew or been a little more aware. Um, Anyway, Brooklyn sits there and gives herself a pat on the back for telling the truth. Not the whole truth, but telling most of the truth. And then Smith is saying, well, I could have sat there and I told Dante, but then blah, 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 blah. It's just excuses. And of course, Lois, dingbat ass, co-signs her BS. Now, here's the thing. When I sit there and say that Brooklyn and Lois are trifling, the majority of the trifling does come from Brooklyn. Lois, I can sit there and be like, listen, you're kind of trifling for what you did, but in some ways, I can sit there and let that go because you were supporting your daughter. You were supporting your daughter. You might have sat there and said, I don't know if you're ready for a kid or whatever, but if she would have sat there and been like, listen, I want to do this, I want to try, I'm going to sit there and tell Dante, she would have supported that too. So I can't necessarily sit there and say that Lois, um, is really that trifling. I mean, she kind of is, but she's not. Brooklyn, I'm going to sit there and say this until the goddamn cows come home that she is trifling with what she did. And now all she's doing is making up excuses and like, I don't want to hurt him, or blah, blah, blah. Whatever. Um, and then Gio comes over, and Gio got money from Sonny. And he thanks Sonny. And then he told Lois about it and was just thanking her for her support and everything like that. And Gio and Brooklyn are hugging, and Lois is looking hella guilty, like, oh, she's really hugging her son, but she doesn't know that. So, like, I guess she's kind of trifling in some ways. Like, yeah, all right, maybe the trifling thing may still stand, but just in a different sense. Um. Oh, and so after Rick was not trying to pat himself on the back for negotiating the deal, even though Abel was like, that was really more on me than on you. Rick goes and he sees Alexis, right? Sees Alexis. And, Alexis is just in a really dark place, in a really bad mood. And at first, she doesn't want to say anything. And of course, Rick is like, well, Rick came there for the papers and stuff like that, for the custody stuff, or for the non custody stuff, something with Diane. Sees Alexis and it's like, what's going on? This is about our daughter. I'm not leaving until that. And Alexis was like, no, it was Cyrus that killed Sam. Right? And Rick is like, listen, I'm sorry. And he goes to try to hug her. And she's just like, she looked like she's about to sit there and clock him, and she just kind of pushes him a little bit. And he's like, no, I'm genuinely sorry that you're going through this. And there was a point where they were married. You know what I'm saying? They genuinely loved each other. And on some level, I guess it's kind of sad because even though I sit there and say I'm not really about couples and stuff like that, I am a true believer in love. And it's sad to sit there and see that disintegrate like that. I mean, granted, there's things that led up to that, and it leads up to that a lot of times, but it's still pretty sad. And he had that look in his eyes like, no, I'm genuinely sorry. And eventually she did hug him and stuff like that. And it's one of those things where it's like, it's kind of sad because it's like, yeah, we can all sit there and say, Rick's slime, or Rick is this, Rick is that, da 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 da. And I'm not necessarily saying that y'all wrong. I'm just necessarily saying from a love standpoint, it's just really sad to sit there and see it disintegrate like that. Um, yeah, I feel like that's about it. Oh, Laura also said to Sunny and Felicia both that Lucky is going to make a full recovery. I don't remember Lucky actually waking up. Do y'all remember Lucky waking up? I'm just genuinely curious. All right, I feel like that's pretty much about it. I can't, I cannot think of anything else that wound up happening today. My God, was this a long day? Whew. This, the gates. So I'm gonna give you a little. And I didn't sit there and say it's my gates review, which I'm going to be reviewing the gates. Um, First of all, I'll sit there and say this now. I was going to say this in the members stream yesterday, but then I had a couple of glasses of wine and I totally forgot about it. So let's see. There are 5 soap operas now. 6, because I watch Hollyoaks. Let's just sit there and say it's 5. It's a lot. So things are going to sit there and change. Tonight, I'm going to sit there and try to keep it at 8 o'clock. So I got Bold and Beautiful to watch. I'm going to keep it at 8 o'clock, right? Going into the streams, moving forward, I am watching 5 soap operas. Okay? And I do have work also. So there's going to be some scheduling changes as far as me doing the live streams. I'm still going to do it. And maybe some days may have to sit there and go from 8 to like maybe 8:30 or hell, even 9 o'clock. Because Because I am super committed to sitting there watching and reviewing the Gates for so many reasons. I gotta sit there and tell you, there is some hella banging women in that show. Jesus Christ. Which is going to lead into something else, and I'll talk about it now since we're going to be doing a live stream tonight. So, this show is predominantly an all black cast. Now, don't get it twisted. There are some different races that's going to come in. There are some different races today. So, for anyone that's sitting there saying it's so stupid that they only sit there focusing on one race, people sit there saying that. I'm just going to sit there and say this: y'all can pretty much go and fuck yourself with a spike dildo. So I didn't hear anyone complaining what all the other sources. All right. Point is, the reason I want to bring that up is because I generally don't tend to usually talk like unless it's something in the show, unless it's a storyline in the show. I generally don't tend to sit there and talk about usual racial issues. But because this show is predominantly a black family and stuff like that, that stuff is going to come up. And although I do like to think keep things fun and stuff like that, that stuff is going to come up. So just a little heads up on that as well. I'm not gonna lie, it just kind of pisses me off. It's like, people will sit there and say that, but they haven't said anything about Young and the Restless, Days of Our Lives, where it's mostly predominantly Caucasian people, but whatever. Okay, enough with that. Anyway, I'm still gonna sit there and try to do the live stream tonight. We got a hell of a lot to talk about. I've talked about this. Yes, I'm gonna toot my own horn. I am actually pretty good. But it was so many. It's so crazy that so many people are reviewing that show. What a dawn, right? Anyway, got a lot to talk about tonight. Gonna be reviewing. I'm gonna be sitting there talking about this stuff for an hour. I'm gonna try to make it an hour because I do gotta wake up early in the morning. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about General Hospital tonight, sir, because some stuff here that I'm pretty sure I probably missed, and we're gonna be talking about that too, as well as the other soaps, Young and the Restless, Days of Our Lives, and Bold and Beautiful. And with that being said, I'm gonna go. I'll see you on the next video.